So as usual, we are online on the Twitch platform and the YouTube platform. Let me see if I can get a link for today's stream. Okay, I think this should be it. Let me copy that link. And if you want to watch on YouTube, you can do so over here. The other great thing about watching on YouTube is that you can rewind the live stream in case you missed something. And yeah, it's a great little place to go if you want to review the information one more time. All right, so let's go ahead and start today's class. And let's see if I think I have a little introduction for this class as well. Let me see if I can find it. So this is cryptography, and it doesn't looks like I forgot to upload the intro. But that's okay. It's okay. All right, let's start today's class. This is Hacker Frogs After School. So we're doing encoding with cryptohack.org, and CryptoHack is another cybersecurity education platform. This one deals with cryptography. So this is the first class. It's a cybersecurity program for learning beginner cybersecurity skills across a wide variety of subjects. This workshop is the first lesson for cryptography. So in this first lesson, we'll be easing into simple cryptographic concepts through learning about encoding. Okay, so let's talk about this. So we're talking about encoding today, and encoding refers to the process of converting data from one form to another, often for the purpose of efficient storage, transmission, or representation. So when you type on your keyboard, you type letters on your keyboard, but what's actually sent to the computer is not going to be these letters. What's going to be sent to the keyboard is ones and zeros, so binary code. Because, well, computers only know how to speak in binary. They only know the number 0 and the number 1. So if you get a large enough string of these ones and zeros, you can form patterns. So for example, when you type the word hello on your keyboard, what the computer does is it encodes that information from the ones and zeros into something called ASCII. And ASCII is basically the way that letters and numbers are represented on computer devices. So for example, before the word hello can appear on the computer screen, it needs to be encoded into ASCII characters from the binary numbers that computers use. So that was this example over here. Although encoding transforms data into one form to another, it is not considered cryptography. So we're doing encoding today, encoding and decoding, but this is not cryptography, because cryptography has to be something that is supposed to be secret. So it's the meaning behind the thing that makes encoding not cryptography. The purpose of encoding isn't to keep the data secret. Nonetheless, encoding is a good introduction to cryptography because it introduces us to transforming data according to different systems and rules. So we're going to be using the CryptoHack platform today, and we'll be learning encoding basics by working through the intro course on the CryptoHack platform, which is a great free platform for learning cryptography concepts. Okay, so if you don't already have an account there, you can sign up at the following link. So it's going to be this one over here, cryptohack.org/register. And you might need this website to complete the registration, which is the crypty.com website, which we can use to decode the Caesar cipher. So I think everybody here already has an account over at CryptoHack, which is good. So since we don't need to take time to explain how to register for the website. Okay, so after you're logged in, you're going to navigate to this link to start the course. So let me go ahead and get this link, and I will drop it in the chat. Wicked Real says greetings. Greetings, Wicked Real on Twitch. Nice to see you here. We're just starting our course on cryptography today. If you want to join us, you can make an account over at CryptoHack, which is, well, let me get the link for you. Okay, so let me go ahead and /intro/courses details. Okay, so this is the first course over at the CryptoHack website. So let me make this nice and big so that we can read it more easily. And if you have any questions or if you're lost, let us know in the chat, and we'll try to get you unlost, because we don't want anybody to be left behind while we're doing our lessons over here. So this is the first course on CryptoHack, Introduction to CryptoHack, and let's take a look at a little overview. So in this course, what are we doing? This starter course gets you up and running with CryptoHack. You'll learn to encode and decode data types that are commonly used in cryptography. Then, you'll get comfortable with the XOR operation, which is the center of symmetric cryptography. And finally, the course ends with some fun XOR puzzles to test what you've learned. CryptoHack is free to play and browse. If you need help or want to find out more details about the site, please refer to our FAQ, and there's a little link to the FAQ. If you want to interact with the community, check out the Discord chat linked in the sidebar. So when you are looking at the site in a slightly larger format, and if you want to see something bigger, or if you want to see something smaller on a web page, you can press the Control-Shift+ and Shift- buttons to make the website bigger and smaller inside your web browser. Game Boy on YouTube says, "Hello, teacher." Hello, Game Boy. Nice to see you here. We're currently doing a course over at CryptoHack, learning cryptography. If you want to join, then you can go ahead and do it at this link over here. Okay, so let's go ahead and start the course. So after you've logged in, go over to this web page here, and then click on Start Course. So after you click on Start Course, it's going to bring you to the first challenge over here, Finding Flags. So if you manage to click on Start Course and you see the Finding Flags challenge over here, please let us know in the chat by typing in find the flag, smiley face. So just type that in the chat to let us know that, that you're on the right page. Game Boy says, "Amazing, lovely subject." Yeah, trying to trying to learn a little bit about cryptography. It's a fun subject when you can figure it out. Okay. All right. So let's solve this first challenge over here. I think I've got some more to say over here. So we're talking about ASCII encoding. So ASCII encoding, this is the first system of encoding that we're going to be looking at. Okay, we're not here yet. Let me go ahead and go back. So we're just going to be talking about how to use the platform first. So finding flags. Each challenge is designed to help introduce you to a new piece of cryptography. Solving a challenge will help you find a flag. So these flags are usually in the format crypto and then something else over here. The flag format helps you verify that you found the correct solution. Try submitting this flag into the form below to solve your first challenge. So when we take a look at these CTF games, they usually involve finding flags, and the flags are usually in a very specific format. If you remember from before, the Pico CTF flags were usually something like, let me go ahead and type it out, Pico CTF, and then we have the flag contents inside the curly braces. So it's something like this, which I provided to chat. But in this case, the CryptoHack platform has its own flag format, and so it basically starts with the word crypto, and then inside the curly brackets are the contents of the flag. So for this first challenge, all you need to do is submit this flag into this flag submission field at the bottom of the page. So just mouse over the flag and copy the contents. So right-click copy, and then down below, click into the field and paste in the flag contents and click on submit. Okay, and it says you have solved this challenge. So if you've solved the challenge too, let us know by typing in "I solved it," smiley face. Just want to make sure that everybody's on the same page. So all you need to do is highlight the flag over here and then copy it, and then in the submission field, paste it in and click on the submit button. And that's all you need to do. Okay, and if you're following along and you're a little bit lost, let us know and we'll try to get you unstuck. Okay, so remember the whole flag is going to look like this. So it's crypto, and then the stuff inside the curly brackets. So it's going to look like this. Okay, we've got some people solving the thing. Great, great. Okay, so I think I see a new student in the chat, and if you don't have an account over at CryptoHack, you can make an account over here. So let me just send the new student the registration link, and I will also send the registration link to another new student who has come in now. Okay, and let me go ahead and demonstrate how to register. Okay, because there's a little tricky bit in the registration process. So let me go ahead and make a new private window. Okay, so when you register for the website, everything's going to be very normal. You need your username and email, your password, but there's also this portion over here. So the portion over here is you need to decrypt it, and this is how you do it. So when you see the 4-letter secret message here, you just need to copy this. Okay, no problem, no problem. Let me go ahead and update the attendance. And so yeah, go over to the registration page, then copy this message. So after you copy the message, there's another website that we want to use. It's called Crypty. So and this is the website we're using. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to go over to the Crypty page, and I want you to paste in whatever you find on the registration page in the plain text window over here. So just go over to here, the CryptoHack page, copy the secret message, then go over to the Crypty page, and then paste in the secret message into the plain text window over here. What you want to do is you want to click on the minus key over here until you see some English letters appear. So sorry, some English words appear. So after you click on this enough times, and it should be within the first 28 clicks, eventually you'll see some actual words show up. So okay, so after clicking on it 16 times, we decoded the message over here. So you want to grab the decoded message and submit this over to the registration page. Just paste it in here and then fill in all of your regular information and click on this box and then click on submit, and you should be able to register your account. Okay, Globby Guy on YouTube asks, where do you teach? I'm teaching on YouTube right now, and I also have a Zoom call where I'm teaching some students, and we also are broadcasting on Twitch. But yeah, if you're having trouble registering, you can go ahead and paste in the secret message, and I can try to decode it for you. Okay? Because we're going to be using this this CryptoHack website to do our exercises today. Okay, so if you're having trouble, let us know in the chat, but otherwise we'll continue on, okay? All right, so where were we? Okay, so we just finished the first challenge over at CryptoHack, and what we need to do is we need to go to the next challenge. So after you submitted your flag, it should say you have solved this challenge, and then you want to click on the next button over here. Okay, and to the people who arrived a little bit later, let me get the link for the course that we're looking at. So what you want to do after you've logged into CryptoHack and after you created your account, you want to go over to this page here. Okay, so Introduction to CryptoHack. This is the second challenge. So this challenge is called Great Snakes, and it says, okay. I see your message, BH. Yeah. So in Great Snakes, it says modern cryptography involves code, and code involves coding. CryptoHack provides a great opportunity to sharpen your skills. So of all the modern programming languages, Python 3 stands out as ideal for quickly writing cryptographic scripts and attacks. For more information about why we think Python is so great, please see the FAQ. They've got a little link, okay? And it says run the attached Python script and it will output your flag. So they've got a file over here that you can download, but you know what? We've actually copied the code from this file over to our GitHub page. So let me get the GitHub page, and we can copy the code from the GitHub page. MC25, I don't seem to be able to decode this. That's because that's not a code. That's not a code. MC25, welcome to the stream. We're just going to be doing cryptography for the next until the top of the next hour or so. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to go over to challenge number 2. So we're currently doing challenge number 2, Great Snakes. And what I want you to do is I want you to copy the code from the GitHub page underneath method of solve. So it says step 1, and then copy the code for the Python file. We've provided the code below for convenience. So you can copy this manually, or you can just click on this button over here. So there's a button that looks like 2 squares on top of each other. And if you click on that, that's going to copy all this code inside the box. Okay? So after you do that, we're going to be using another website to run the Python code. So this is the website we're going to be using today for Python. I want you to go over to the website, and I want you to you're going to see some code already in the window over here. Hold on, let me see if I can. Yeah. So there's going to be some code already in the window. What you want to do is you want to just delete all of the code that's already in the window, and in the window that says main.py. So what you want to do afterwards is you want to go back to the GitHub page here, copy the code from the GitHub page, then go over to the online Python website, and then paste in that code. So after you've done that, you're going to see all the Python code in here. You don't need to worry about exactly what the code is doing, but if you know your Python code, it makes sense. All you need to do is you need to paste in the code into the window, and then you need to click on this Run button over here. Okay, and when you do that, Game Boy, where's that flag from? I don't know if I've seen that flag before. Okay, so after you click on the Run button below the code window, it's going to say, here's your flag, crypto zen of Python. So what you need to do is you need to copy this, copy the flag. So everything from the C in crypto until the ending squiggly bracket. So just highlight all this and keep your button on the mouse. While you keep the button on the mouse, you want to do the keyboard shortcut, Control C, and that's going to let you copy the flag. I'll just provide the flag to everybody in the chat just for convenience. That doesn't seem to want to copy over. Just a second. That's weird. Hold on, let me see if I can get this done. So copy that, and then let's paste it somewhere. Okay, so that pasted. I think I can copy this to the chat now. There you go. So if you're having trouble, let us know, and we'll try to help you out. So paste the code into the online Python website, and then click on the Run button, and then it'll show you the flag. So if you're having trouble with copying the flag, you can go ahead and copy it from the chat, and let's go ahead and solve the challenge. So we're going to go back to the CryptoHack page, and then we're going to go down to the bottom. There's going to be the flag submission field over here. So just click into the flag submission field, paste in the flag, and then click on submit. And then it should say that you have solved this challenge. So everybody, if you manage to solve the challenge, then let us know in the chat by typing in the chat. Let's see. Snake got done. Smiley face. Just like this. So if you're having trouble, let us know where you're having trouble, and then we'll try to get you unstuck. And I want to ask everybody here, how many people here have done coding in Python before? If you've done coding in Python before, type Python yes in the chat. And if you haven't done Python before, please type Python no in chat, just so that I know who has had experience doing coding before. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the next exercise. So just go over to the bottom of the page, and either the top or the bottom of the page, there's going to be a next box over here. Click on the next box, and then we're going to be talking about our first encoding system of the day. So we're talking about ASCII. So ASCII is a 7-bit encoding standard which allows the representation of text using the integers 0 to 127. So using the below integer array, convert the numbers to their corresponding ASCII characters to obtain the flag. So what the heck does that mean? We're going to explain. Slyborg in Twitch chat says Python no. I'm surprised. I'm surprised, Slyborg, that you haven't done coding in Python before. I don't know if you're trolling or not, but let us know. Let us know, because we could. It might be fun to do Python learning on stream as well. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about ASCII encoding. So the first encoding that we're going to be looking at is ASCII, which is a common text encoding system, which assigns numerical values to letters, numbers, and symbols. So Slyborg says I really have done almost no coding. So maybe we can fix that in the future. But yeah. So for example, if we have the lowercase h in ASCII encoding, so in binary it's going to be this number. So this number in binary is going to equal the number 68 in hexadecimal, which is counting with the base 16 numbers. And in regular numbers, also known as decimal numbers, this is the number 104. So decimal 104, hexadecimal 68, and binary, this number over here, they're all going to equal to the letter H when we use the ASCII encoding scheme. Globby Guy says, print Python yes. Python yes. Okay, great to see. Great to see, Globby Guy. Yeah. Okay, so ASCII can take its input in different numerical formats. So you can use binary, which is base 2 counting, hexadecimal, which is base 16 counting, and decimal, which is base 10 counting. So just like this. So the original ASCII characters that they created, they assigned different characters to different numbers. I don't know if I can make this, I think I can make this a little bit bigger. Okay, bigger, even bigger. Hopefully you can read that. So for example, if we have decimal 32 or hex 20, that's going to be the space character, which is basically the space bar. And if we've got decimal 33 or hexadecimal 21, that is the exclamation mark character. And they've got a different number basically for each one of these characters over here on your keyboard. Just like this. So let's go ahead and go over to, we need to, hold on. What page is this? Page 13. Page 12? Okay. Let's keep on going. So let's learn ASCII with CryptoHack. We've already done that. We went to the CryptoHack page. If you're lost and you need to and you want to catch up with the rest of us, let us know in the chat, and we'll try to get you back up to where everybody else is. Okay, so we're going to be talking about hexadecimal numbers before we can do this challenge. So hexadecimal is a system of counting in base 16. So whereas our normal counting system, which is called decimal, is base 10. So when we say decimal, we mean counting up to 10 and then rolling over. When we do hexadecimal, we have to count to the number 16 before we roll over. So here's what the numbers 0 to 16 look like in hexadecimal. So 0 to 9 is going to be the same as counting in decimal. And then the number 10 is actually going to be represented by the letter A. The number 11 is the letter B, 12 is the letter C, 13 is the letter D, 14 is the letter E, 15 is the letter F, and when we do the number 16, it's actually going to be the number 10. So Game Boy says, I love Fox. What color is Fox? And if he loved to jump. I'm not sure what that means. Let us know in the chat. Thank you, Game Boy. Okay, so this is 0 to 16 in hexadecimal. And when you do computer stuff, you're going to see hexadecimal numbers all the time, because hexadecimal numbers allow you to represent the numbers 0 to 255 in just 2 digits. So in hexadecimal, 255 is the letter FF. So one reason why hexadecimal representation is used in computing is because it allows 8-digit binary numbers to be represented with 2 digits. So remember that that computers only know the numbers 1 and 0. So when you count using the computer, you have to use these long binary numbers. So to make it easier for humans to understand the binary numbers, we convert them over to hexadecimal. So it's also very convenient to represent ASCII characters with hex, because it allows non-printable ASCII characters to be represented with a number. So not every byte that is sent over to the computer is going to be something that we can print out. Some of them are not printable, and we need hexadecimal numbers to be able to represent those non-printable bytes. Okay, so let's go ahead and solve the challenge now, okay? So we're going to go back to the CryptoHack page, and it says, using the below integer array, convert the numbers to their corresponding ASCII characters to obtain a flag. So this is what we're going to do. We've got this list of numbers, and each one of these numbers is actually represents a letter in ASCII. And let's see, I think this is decimal to ASCII. So these are regular decimal numbers. We need to convert each one of these over to ASCII, and we're going to explain how we do that. So what you need to do is you need to copy this entire list over here. So copy the list, and make sure that you include the square brackets over here. So highlight all of it, then select copy, and we're going to be using a special function in Python. So it says here in Python, the chr function can be used to convert an ASCII ordinal number to a character. So this is the function we're going to be using. So what you want to do is you want to go over to the online Python website here. So whatever code is already there, you want to highlight all of it, and you want to delete it. So after you delete everything, you want to paste in your list. So this is a really big list, and we're going to make a variable out of this. So we're going to call this our ASCII list. So we're just going to make a little ASCII list equals this. So this is what is called a variable. It's basically a little holder of information. So ASCII list is this list of numbers over here. The next thing we need to do is we need to create the variable that is the transformed information. So what we're going to do is we're going to make another list called ASCII, we're going to call it ASCII text. So ASCII text is going to be equal to ASCII list, but we're going to do something to it. And what we're going to do is we're just going to, oh, sorry. We're going to write a, everybody, we're not here to learn about Python coding, but we've actually have a little piece of code that we're going to be doing to translate the characters. And you can find it over at the GitHub here. So if you don't have the GitHub link, this is it. And we're going to go over to challenge number 3. So we're doing challenge 3. So on the GitHub page, scroll down to challenge 3. And what you want to do is you want to copy this code over here. So navigate to the online Python website. Go ahead and copy this code over here. So just click on the 2 boxes, and that's going to copy all the code inside the box here. Then you're going to go over to the online Python website, and then you're going to paste in the code. So before we run the code, let me just explain what this code is doing, okay? So we've got the list. So the ASCII list is going to be equal to whatever we got from the CryptoHack website. And then we're going to run a little loop. So this is a programming loop that is going to translate all of the characters from the number into the ASCII character. So for I, so I is basically whatever, each one of these objects over here, each one of these numbers. So for each I in the ASCII list, we're going to print out that character I, and we're going to convert it using the CHR function. And then when we do this, when we run this this loop over here, it's going to take all of the characters and it's going to turn them into their ASCII translation, and it's going to print it out. So after you've pasted the code in, go down to the bottom and then click on Run. And then you're going to get the flag over here. Game Boy says you can do it with any letter. You can do it with any letter. Yeah, you can also convert the letters into these numbers, and you can convert the numbers into letters. So afterwards, you're going to get the flag over here. Let me see if I can copy this, and I'll provide it to everybody in the chat. So I think we can paste this. Okay. And let me go ahead and grab the whole thing. Okay, so everybody, if you're lost or if you're stuck somewhere, please let us know, because we don't want anybody to get left behind. Let's go back. So, not this window, this window. Okay, so after you copy the flag, go over to the CryptoHack website, scroll down to the bottom, and then there's going to be a little box that says Enter Flag here. Click into it, and then paste in the flag, and then click on Submit. Okay, so looks like we have a little system over here where we can get different levels. All right, everybody, if you managed to finish the challenge, let everybody know in chat by typing in ASCII is easy, smiley face, just like this. If you have any questions about any of the stuff we're talking about, let us know in the chat. We'll try to answer your questions as best we can. Okay, Game Boy says that they've done it before. That's great to hear. That's great to hear. Okay, let's go ahead and go over to the next challenge. All right, so the next challenge, we're just going to click on the next button to go to the next challenge. And we've got this next challenge is called Hex. Hunter says, other than CryptoHack, is there any other great resource to learn hacking and IT security in general? Yeah, there's a couple of websites that I like to recommend. One of them is PicoCTF. And I'll just leave the link in the chat. So that's PicoCTF. The other site that I like to recommend is TryHackMe. And these are both great places where you can learn all sorts of technology and cybersecurity stuff for free. Okay, great to see some other people are solving the challenge. Let's go ahead and go back to the challenge, and we'll talk about this this next thing. Okay, so this is the hex challenge. So the challenge says, when we encrypt something, the resulting ciphertext commonly has bytes, which are non-printable ASCII characters. If we want to share our encrypted data, it's common to encode it into something more user-friendly and portable across different systems. Hexadecimal can be used in such a way to represent ASCII strings. First, each letter is converted to an ordinal number according to the ASCII table, as in the previous challenge. Then, the decimal numbers are converted to base 16 numbers, otherwise known as hexadecimal. The numbers can be combined together into one long hex string. So included below is a flag encoded as a hex string. Decode this back into bytes to get the flag. So we've got this hexadecimal string. It's a very long string of letters and numbers, but these are actually all hexadecimal numbers. So F is a hexadecimal number. Remember that the letters A, B, C, D, E, F are included in hexadecimal. And you're going to see this kind of stuff a lot when you work with computers. Okay, so we also get a little hint along with this challenge. It says, in Python, the bytes dot from hex function can be used to convert hex to bytes. The dot hex instance method can be held on byte strings to get their hex representation. So we're going to be using this to solve the challenge. But before we solve the challenge, let's talk a little bit more about hexadecimal, okay? So over here, oh, okay, we're not talking about that yet. That's fine. All right, so let's go back to CryptoHack, and what we're going to do is we're going to convert these hex strings into bytes. So this is what we're going to do. We're just going to copy the hex string over here, and it looks like we're going to need to take a break because there are ads running on Twitch. Okay, so when ads run on Twitch, we also run them on YouTube. So let me go ahead and run the ads on YouTube. And we're just going to take a minute of break while the ads run on Twitch and YouTube because we don't want anybody to miss out on any of the action. So while the ads are running, we're just going to take a little break. You can have a little drink of water. You can get up and stretch. If you need to use the washroom, now is a good opportunity to do so. And we're also going to watch a little video. So I love my bird videos, and so we can just watch the bird videos while the break goes on. So we're just going to be doing a break for about another minute or so. We'll be coming back to the lesson after a minute or so. Hunter says, handsome birds. They they are very, very beautiful birds. And yeah, I'm happy that these guys come around to use the bird bath and the bird feeder. I've got these set up in the backyard, and I love yeah, well, I love watching these cute little guys come around the backyard. But anyways, let's go ahead and put the birds away, and we can continue the lesson. Okay, so what we need to do on the CryptoHack page is we need to copy the hex string. We're just going to grab the hex string, we're going to copy it, and then we're going to go over to the online Python website. So whatever code is already here, we're just going to highlight it all, and we're going to delete it. Then we're going to paste in the hex string. And what we need to do is we need to turn this into something that Python can work with. So the first thing we need to do is we need to wrap this up with some quotes. So the quote button on your keyboard, it's beside the semicolon and it's beside the backslash, maybe. Anyways, we want to wrap the string in quotes. So you know that the string is wrapped up in quotes when you see it turn dark green like this. So make sure that there's a quote on the left-hand side, and you make sure that there's a quote on the right-hand side. We're going to call this variable, we're going to call it hex underscore string. So hex underscore string equals this. The next thing we want to do is we want to convert this into bytes. And we're going to make another variable called hex bytes. And we're going to make it equal to hex underscore string. But we're going to need to use the special function that was mentioned on the CryptoHack page. So the function that was mentioned on the CryptoHack page was bytes.fromHex. So we're just going to use this on the hex string. So what we need to do is we need to put the variable name hex underscore string in the middle of the parentheses here. So hex underscore string. And the last thing we're going to do is we're going to print this out. So we're just going to do print and then parentheses. And inside the parentheses, we're going to do hex underscore bytes. Okay, and then when we run this code, we're going to convert, well, we're going to specify that hex string is this right here. Then we specify that the hex bytes is going to be bytes from string, this function here. We run it on hex string. And then we print out the hex bytes, and it should be the flag. So when we run this, just go down to the bottom, click on run, and then we see this flag over here. So crypto, you'll be working with hex strings a lot. So just copy the flag over here. So highlight it, don't let go of the mouse button, click, do Control C on the keyboard, and then you should be able to paste the flag. Let me get the flag for everybody, and I'll provide it to everybody in chat. So it just looks like that. So if you're having trouble writing the code, then you can copy the code from the GitHub page. So over at the GitHub page, this is going to be challenge number 4. So go down to challenge number 4. You're going to see the code inside this box here. Go ahead and click on the box. That'll copy all the code. Then go over to the online Python. Get rid of everything that's there. Paste in the code. And then run the code. So if you don't understand what's going on in the code, let us know in the chat, and we'll try to explain things better. Let me just explain as best as I can right now. So we've got this hex number. It's a really long number, and what we need to do is we need to convert this into bytes. So bytes are basically computer language. And when we convert the bytes into, when we convert the hexadecimal number into bytes and we print it out, then we'll get the flag for the challenge over here. Okay, so if you manage to, okay, let's go ahead and submit the flag and finish the challenge. Let me grab the flag first. We'll go over to CryptoHack. Not this one, this one. Okay, so on CryptoHack, scroll down to the end of the bottom of the page, and then paste in the flag, and then click on Submit. Okay, and it should say you've solved the challenge. If you manage to solve the challenge, let us know in the chat by typing in hex to flag smiley face. And if you had any trouble, let us know where you ran into some trouble. We'll try to get you back on track. Okay, we've got some people solving the challenge. Great, great. We've got one more challenge to do before we finish today's lesson, okay? So after you finish the challenge, what you want to do is you just want to click on the next button here to go to the final challenge that we're doing today. So this challenge is called Base 64. So this is a very common encoding scheme that we see in cybersecurity challenges. So another common encoding scheme is base64, which allows us to represent binary data as an ASCII string using an alphabet of 64 characters. One character of base64 string encodes 6 binary digits, so 4 characters of base64 encode 3 8-bit bytes. Base64 is commonly used online, so binary data such as images can be easily included into HTML or CSS files. So take the below hex string, decode it into bytes, and then encode it into base64. So we've got our hex string over here. We need to decode it into bytes, and then we need to encode it into base64. Okay, so before we start the challenge, let me explain a little more about the base64 system. So we're talking about base64 encoding, and base64 is a system which converts data bytes into strings made up of characters in the base64 character set. So the base64 character set it's basically like a system of numbers. So we got all of the uppercase letters, all of the lowercase letters, all the numbers, plus the symbols plus and slash. So if you see this kind of pattern, then it might be a base64 encoded string. So we can use the Linux terminal to do a base64 conversion. We can turn a message into base64 and we can turn it back. So for example, if I'm going to echo out the sentence hacker frogs rule and we turn it into a base64 string, then it's going to look like this. So we take this text over here and then we encode it using base64 and we get this. So if we know this is a base64 string, we can convert it back into regular ASCII characters. So say we've got this, we can run this command and we can base64 decode it. And so that's how you convert something into base64. And then you can take the same message and you can convert it back into regular ASCII letters, just like this. Okay, so where were we? Here? Okay. So here's an example of encoding a string using base64. Note the presence of the equal signs at the end of the base64 encoded string. So another thing that we should pay attention to when we're talking about base64 encoded strings is that sometimes you're going to see these equal signs at the end of the string. It's a pretty good indication that it's a base64 encoded string. So base64 encoded strings will always consist of a number of characters that is divisible by the number 4. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So we've got 20 characters over here. It's always going to be a number that's divisible by 4, and the number 20 is divisible by 4. So, and if that's not the case, then a number of equal signs, we call these padding characters, will be placed at the end of the string so that it is of the correct length. So if the string is only 18 characters long, they're going to add another 2 equal signs over here so that it equals a number that is divisible by the number 4. Okay, so learn base64 at CryptoHack. Okay, let's go ahead and do this. So let's go over to the CryptoHack website, and it asks us to take the below hex string, decode it into bytes, and then encode it into base64. So you can just grab the hex string here, copy it, then go over to online Python. Whatever code is already there, get rid of it, then paste in the hex string. So we need to put this in quotes. So put this in a single quote on either end, and we're going to call this hex underscore string. So this is going to be a variable called hex string. It's equal to this. The next thing we need to do is we need to, what were the instructions? So decode it into bytes. So I think we had, in the previous challenge, we got the function that we need to do to turn something into bytes. So we use this bytes.fromHex. So we're just going to use this function here for the current challenge. So this is the function we're going to use. The new variable we're going to make is going to be called hex bytes. So hex bytes equals bytes.fromHex, and in the center here, we need to specify what we're going to be turning into bytes, and that's going to be the hex string. So type in the center here, hex underscore string, and then we need to encode it into base 64. So encoding into base 64 is another function over here, which they give us. So we can just copy this. The other thing we need to do before we can use this function is we need to import the base 64 module into our code. So if you think this is a bit complicated, then you can just go over to the GitHub. And in the GitHub, we've got the code for challenge number 5 down here. So all you need to do is click on the 2 squares here to copy the code, then go over to the Python website, get rid of what's already there, and then paste in the code. So to understand what's going on, we're going to go over it line by line. So on line number 1, we import the base 64 module into Python. So a module is basically a collection of code. So we're importing a bunch of other code that's called base 64 into this code. So the next thing we do is we create the hex string that we got from CryptoHack over here. Then we take that hex string and we turn it into bytes by running this function on it, bytes.fromHex, on the hex string that we created up here. Then we base 64. Oh, sorry, this should be base 64 encoded. Anyways. Okay, so we base 64 encode the hex bytes, and we turn it into another variable called base 64 encoded. And then we print that thing out at the very last step over here. Okay, so, thank you very much for following on Twitch, Kilby572, thank you. Okay, let's go ahead and run this code. So just go down to the bottom and click on Run. And you get this flag over here, crypto base 64 encoding is web safe. So just copy the flag, and let me see if I can, so just copy the flag over here, see if I can give this to everybody in chat. Okay, so that's the flag. Gameboy says base 64, import base 64, import bin ASCII. I don't know if we have to import bin ASCII for this particular piece of code, but that's fine. Okay, so let's see. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to submit this flag. Remember that the flag doesn't include this part. So the B and the single quote, this is not part of it, and the single quote at the end over here is not part of the flag either. So let's go ahead and submit the flag over to CryptoHack. So down at the bottom, click into the flag submission, paste in the flag, and then click on Submit. Okay, so it should say that you have solved this challenge. And if you're having trouble, let us know. But if you manage to finish the challenge, let everybody in chat know by typing in the chat, "It's all based." Smiley face. Yeah, both of them work. Both of them work. So it's as long as the code works, that's all that matters. Yeah. Okay, and if you had any trouble with any part of the challenge, let us know. the great thing about these challenges is that if you don't want to type out all this code, and you probably don't want to, you can just go over to the GitHub page, and you can just click on the little boxes, and that's going to copy all the code over. That's a much easier way to do it. But you should probably be paying attention to to what the code is actually doing. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and summarize today's lesson, and then we can finish up for today. So CryptoHack is a pretty great little website for learning about cryptography, and we're going to be using it in a few other lessons as well. Okay, nice to see that other people have been completing the challenges. Neems on Twitch says, "What's good? We're just about to finish out our cryptography class, and let's do a little summary over here." So let's review the cryptography concepts we learned in today's workshop. So what is encoding? We were learning about encoding, and it refers to the process of converting data from one form to another, often for the purpose of efficient storage, transmission, or representation. So we learned about a few different ways that we can encode information, such as ASCII encoding over here. ASCII is a common text encoding system which assigns numerical values to letters, numbers, and symbols. We learned about hexadecimal conversion. So hexadecimal can be used to represent ASCII characters, and conversion between hex and ASCII is a form of encoding. So if we turn the hex number into a decimal number, that's we could call that encoding as well. If we turn a decimal number into a binary number, that can also be considered a form of encoding. And the last thing we learned about today was we learned about base 64 encoding. So base 64 is a method of converting data bytes into alphanumeric strings and is often featured in CTF challenges. I can't emphasize enough that you're going to see a lot of these base 64 encoded strings when you do CTF challenges. And it's something you really need to learn how to identify. So what's next? So in the next HackerFrog's After School Cryptography workshop, we'll begin to look at classical encryption methods, which are often featured in cybersecurity CTF competitions. So let's see. This is an example. Well, this over here is an example of some classic cryptography. We're going to be learning about this in the next class. So the Roman Emperor cipher, often called the Caesar cipher, we're going to be learning about that. Okay, so I think we are just about finished with this class today. But for everybody on Twitch and YouTube, we're going to be taking a little break while we finish out the class on Zoom. But after we come back, we're going to be talking about cybersecurity education platforms, and we're going to be doing some gaming with Baba as you. But that's going to be in a couple of minutes. And in the meantime, please watch the Be Right Back screen. We'll probably be away for a couple minutes, and then we'll come back to the stream and continue. So enjoy the Be Right Back screen and enjoy the music.